Hello, my name is James Goulding, and I'm here to announce my presidential candidacy for 2020. The top issues I have that I'm going to address today are income inequality and wealth distribution, climate change, and our corrupt justice system that we have today. So, did you know that the top 1% owns as much as the bottom 90% of Americans in terms of wealth? And we need to create a progressive estate tax to make sure that the 1% pay their fair share. Also, did you know that 58% of all new income generated goes to the top 1%? And we must increase the national minimum wage to at least $15 an hour so Americans are working longer hours and getting less pay, and it is unacceptable. Finally, child poverty rate in America is at 32.2%, one of the highest among developed countries on earth. And we need to invest in more jobs for Americans, especially younger Americans. And we can do that by putting more work into our infrastructure and making sure we can fix our crumbling roads and cities and give a lot of people many jobs. Next thing I would like to address is climate change. Did you know that in Montana Glacier National Park, it only has 25 glaciers instead of the 150 that were there in 1910 when it was originally discovered? And this past decade has been the hottest on Earth so far in terms of greenhouse gases and CO2 emissions. There haven't been more in our atmosphere than there have been today. So I suggest for every dollar we invest in energy efficiency, such as solar power, wind power, and water power, families and businesses can enjoy up to $4 in energy savings for every $1 billion invested in energy efficiency upgrades. And we can create up to 8,000 new jobs, roughly 10 times as many jobs as we would with the same investments as coal. Finally, in the United States, the transportation sector accounts for about 26% of pollution emissions. And this is insane. I feel like we need to standardize electric vehicles as well as make charging stations available along many of the U.S. highways and freeways today. Finally, I'm going to talk about our very corrupt justice system we have in America. Did you know that the amount of shootings in public places with 4 or more people have died has tripled in the amount in the past 20 years? And so I feel like we definitely need to do better background checks on weapons and when people purchase weapons so they do not end up in the hands of criminals. Finally, the incarceration rate has doubled in the past 20 years, and we need to end the war on drugs as well as individuals who commit nonviolent crimes and only lock those up who pose an immediate threat to the community and society. Other than that, did you know that we also have more people incarcerated in this nation than anywhere else on earth? Okay, finally, the last thing we need to address is racial justice. 5.5 million black Americans are killed each year by police, which is roughly double the amount than whites. 1 in 3 black men can expect to be incarcerated within their lifetime, which compared to whites is 1 in 17. If we invest in police body cameras and demilitarize our police forces, we can also change the culture in the ways policing works, such as police shouldn't be so scared to, or the community, to report a bad officer, and the department can then follow through with what this bad officer has done, and take changes and make ethical and timely decisions about what should be done to address this. So I would like to thank you all today for coming to my presidential announcement, and I hope you all understand how important these 3 issues of criminal justice, income and wealth inequality, and climate change can be to us today. James Goulding for President 2020. Thank you very much, everybody.